grid off your photograph, you're going to follow the same process that you did with your paper, except now your grid squares are going to be 1 inch by 1 inch instead of 2 inches by 2 inches. Now, because your photograph has a white border around it, you do not want to begin your marks by lining up the edge of the ruler with the edge of the paper. You want to line up the edge of the ruler with the edge of the image on the paper. So I'm going to line my ruler up right up against this edge here. And then I'm going to put a mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 8 is the other side of the image, so we don't have to put a mark there. And then we're going to do the same at the top. Line up the edge of your ruler against the edge of your image and put a mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then you're going to place your ruler against your marks. Now, if you have a dark area in the picture, you're going to have to look very closely to find that mark. But if you look at it from the side, you'll be able to see it. And you're going to make your grid lines just from the top of the image to the bottom of the image. Do not go into the border. Ignore the border. Make sure that your ruler is lined up exactly against the marks that you've made. And draw your grid lines. With these grid lines, you can press harder because we do want to be able to see those grid lines on your photograph. It's only on your drawing paper that you want to keep your grid lines light. But here we want them to be visible. And just like we did with our paper, you're going to turn the photograph sideways. You're going to line up the edge of the ruler in line with the edge of the image, disregarding the white border, and put a point at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, with 10 being the other side of the image. We don't have to put a mark there. Now we're going to put the ruler up at the top of the image, line up your ruler against the edge of your image, and put a mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we'll use our ruler to line up our points, drawing our lines from just the edge of the image to the other side of the image. And again, look very carefully for your marks. If you're working with a dark area, look at your image from the side so that you can see the pencil mark. And make your grid lines as clear as you can make them. Please watch what you are doing as you are drawing your grid lines. If the grid line is not lined up exactly against those marks that you've made, your grid lines are going to be going diagonally, and it will throw off your drawing. It's imperative that you make sure that your lines are perfectly straight, either vertical or horizontal, and that your grid squares come out the same size. Any variation in that could cause variation in your drawing. And then when you're finished, again, if you did this correctly, you should have 10 rows of squares with 8 squares in each row, giving you a total of 80 squares that match the same number of squares that you have on your drawing paper. And then at that point, you are ready to begin your drawing.